Thank you for calling Sofakingnews. This is Stanton. Is this Grieves?
This is.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Hey. What's going on?
Oh my God, there's so many of you.
It's cool. We'll try and keep it down to one question at a time, but no promises, man. It gets out of hand in here.
Man, I can answer like 5 or 6 at a time. I'm like that blue bitch from The Fifth Element. I can sing like 8 different things at once.
That's what happens when you have the power of the gift of gab. You can just go at it.
Yeah, man, I'm saying. Really, I just can't shut up.
I don't know if blue bitch from The Fifth Element is the most like PC term for whatever that is. But I'm like that blue bitch from The Fifth Element.
Are we PC?
No.
Oh, yeah,
certainly. We pretty much have offended everyone, so blue bitches from The Fifth Element are cool too.
We started this show off with a segment about dolphin rape.
Yo, you want to know some crazy shit about dolphins?
Fuck yes, I do.
They're fucking mammals, right?
Yeah.
They're mammals. And mammals have titty milk. It's just like,
Yeah.
you just have to have it because you're a mammal. You got to have tit milk. And so I was always curious where the hell the titties are on the dolphin because I never saw a dolphin tit in my life.
That's a good
And that's
point.
because dolphins don't have titties. They have milk sacs on each side of their asshole, on each side of their anus, and their young drink milk from its ass, pretty much.
One more reason I'm
dude.
glad I'm not a fucking dolphin.
I bet they didn't know they were going to get a science lesson today, but that's amazing.
Yeah, so you guys are checking this out, and that might be like, I don't know how like anatomically correct that is. Like you could be like, well, there's a 3-centimeter gap between the anus and the vagina, so technically they're not really drinking from the asshole. You ignorant fuck.
No, man, they're drinking from the ass. Well,
Well,
sweet
from
man.
afar, it looks like they're drinking out the ass.
Dude, Grieves just schooled us on marine biology. I love this fucking
That's
show.
odd. Like I feel weird going into like any of the question, like a serious question now. Like after we just talked about.
I got some other shit too. I named my internet Wi-Fi Dolphin Milk because when I figured that shit out, it blew my mind.
Wow, that's almost serendipitous. This is like the perfect show. We have Odorous Orungus from Guar talking about dolphin rape, and then we get Grieves talking about dolphin milk.
Butt milk.
Dolphin Milk. Butt Milk.
So,
Butt Milk could be a sweet band name.
Fucking hey, dude.
So how's it going out in Seattle right now?
It's good. It's beautiful out here right now. It's not rainy. It's not cold. It's nice.
We're jealous because in Dallas it's been shit for 3 days.
Damn. Well, maybe it came up our way. Who knows? It's shit all year round here, though. So let us have this.
Well, so I looked on your Wikipedia and I saw that you lived in Chicago, Colorado, San Diego, and New York.
Yep.
What made you choose Seattle to be your home base?
Well, I grew up in Chicago, and then my dad got a job in Colorado, so we moved out there. And then after high school, I just had to get out of there because the place trap a motherfucker.
Yeah.
So I got out of there, and I moved to Seattle. I lived here for a really long time, and then my career started doing things, and, I was making a little bit of money, and I kind of I was traveling around so much, like, I hit California, and I was like, yeah, I like California. I'm going to move to California. So, I'm going to get like a house by the beach and hang out and whatever. Tried to do that. Realized I do not belong by the beach. And so then I tried to go the complete opposite, and I moved to New York, and I lived there for a while with my manager, and Budo was out there. So I got a lot of shit done, like productivity-wise. It was really good for me. But it was also really expensive, and I kind of moved there for someone else. Like I was on some love shit, and it didn't work out. So I ended up coming back here, and I don't know. I like it here, man. It matches my my pace.
Yeah, man. It definitely it seems like your natural flow of everything just kind of matches the scene out there and the other stuff that's that you've been doing. You've been blowing up a lot since you've been out there. So I'm happy for you, I guess is what I'm trying to
works,
say.
Man.
Well, Brent on the show here, he actually used to live in Seattle, and he had a question.
Yeah. I actually lived in Seattle in '95, and that was the most.
Oh, you were going to need to get closer to whatever you were talking to.
I'm afraid because I can hear myself way too loud in this microphone. So
you sound like someone's got a pillow over your face.
No, I lived in Seattle in '95, and I'm a musician myself, and that was Seattle was the definitive change in how I wrote music. And it was all because of the vast variety of influences that town has. I've never been to a town that had a wider variety of influences. And my question to you is, how does that town specifically influence how you write music now?
Man, I like it here because, especially that's like one of the main things. It kind of keeps me inside. It's kind of muggy and dark out all the time, and so it's not like San Diego was for me, where it was like, I don't want to go home and work. I want to like be outside and fuck off.
Yeah, but
here kind of promotes, I don't want to be standing out in the rain.
Yeah.
My work requires me to be inside, so it's not like an emo statement like, I want to be inside working on my music. Like, you can't do it outside. You can't set up your computer and your keyboards outside. If you do, you're an asshole and an idiot.
So essentially what you're saying is the weather is so fucked you get a lot of work done.
Well, yeah, and it's like it's this weird like insulating thing. Like the weather's just one thing, like it's an insulating thing. So I feel like with the clouds overhead and everything like that, like I just kind of belong inside working on things that are brighter than my surroundings. And then when you have a culture like this city does, you have an art scene, and you have a hell of an art scene.
Yeah.
So there's there's people everywhere with their hands and everything. We unfortunately have an art scene, but no business scene connected to that art.
Yeah.
So it's really hard for people to like break out of this city because of that. And if there is any business, it's very minute and it's very elitist and it's very hard to get into.
Yeah.
And even at that point, it's probably not the best anyway. So that's one thing that I did wish that this city had more of. But, everybody that made it out of here, they made it because of people from, outside of the city, I feel like.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's cases where I'm wrong, of course. But, all the major agencies and manager groups are not in this city at all. Like, we have Sub Pop, but even, I'm sure their resources branch out of Seattle.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But, that's actually very interesting. You're 3 of like the 5 people up here, frustrated musicians from like shitty small towns. So yeah, I totally get that aspect of it. That was a really interesting perspective, though. Thank you.
So I first heard your album Irreversible back in like 2007, 2008. I had a friend come back from Seattle, and he brought him. He's like, "Hey, check this guy out." And at the time, I'd been into Atmosphere for a couple years and was really digging that stuff. And the first thing I thought when I heard you was like, "Man, this guy belongs on Rhymesayers." And then lo and behold, you get signed to Rhymesayers. Was that something that you kind of were aiming for?
I mean, I knew it would be a perfect fit. I wasn't necessarily aiming for it, but when the opportunity came up to put myself in front of the Rhymesayers people, I definitely didn't stray from it. So, like, there's a group from here called Gray Skull.
Yeah, Gray Skull.
And I've been working with them a lot. I had a studio out here, and I was helping them out with some of their tracks and stuff, and they had just finished Bloody Radio, and they were gearing up to go on the road with Atmosphere. And, they were around the studio a lot, and Henri had showed a lot of faith in me and, came by, and they invited me to be in their video for Scarecrow and stuff like that. And, I had a van, and he asked if I wanted to DJ, if they could use the van, I could DJ, and they'd let me, rock a couple verses during their set, and he'd convince the other openers on the tour to let me do the same if they could ride in the van. So, we brought the van, or I, kind of contributed. That was my contribution because I had nothing. And, everyone rode in the van. They let me rock a couple verses during their sets. Like, they weren't my songs. They were their songs, but, they had a spare verse on it, so I got to slide in there and rock some shit. And
nice.
It was, when I first met Slug and Jaybird and all those guys, and I had printed up 10,000 samplers of Irreversible because I knew I couldn't I knew I couldn't convince people to buy my record, no matter how much they might like me or whatever from those couple verses that I did or seeing me on stage all night. I knew that they didn't know why I was up there, and I could use that to my benefit.
Nice.
So, you know, I was on stage all night except for Atmosphere's set. Yeah. So when I would get off, I would go straight to the merch table, and I would talk to people, and I was wearing, like, bright clothes. You know, I'd wear, like, a bright T-shirt or something like that to get people's attention always. This shit was playing the fuck out.
Yeah, man.
Like,
you're like the Batman of hip-hop, man. You got, like, a plan here.
I was not fucking around. I took that one chance, and I used it. As corny as that sounds, it sounds like a damn Eminem song.
That's not corny. That's fucking badass, man.
I mean, that's what you got to do, right?
Few people can actually like recognize the opportunity when it's staring them in the face, and for you to utilize it, man, that shows a lot of presence of mind. I'm fucking impressed.
It worked out, man. I got off all 10,000 of those demos, and I wasn't like standing at the door when people were leaving and being like, "Take one, take one, take one, take one." I met 10,000 people.
Yeah.
By the end of that tour, I knew I couldn't get them to buy the whole record, so I put 5 songs on these demos, and that's what I was giving out, or those samplers. Yeah. But Irreversible was already done, and it was out, and it was at the merch table, and nobody bought it. I was right. Nobody bought it. But they did take those samplers, and they did take them home, and then they went on to iTunes, and they bought the fucking record. By the time I had gotten off that tour, my iTunes had paid back what it cost to make those samplers, and it was like, it was on.
Hell
yeah, man.
Well, so you pushed your first big album out, Irreversible, on your own, and then you signed with Rhymesayers for the next one, or did you?
I put out 88 Keys and Counting after that.
Yeah.
And I was running with this crew called Black Clover, and they would like to say that they put that record out, but they didn't put any money for it. They didn't distribute it. I paid for it. I put it up on iTunes myself. They sold some off their online store, but they never gave me any money for it, so fuck them.
Yeah, for real.
And then we left, and that's when I started talking with Sadiq, because I was really frustrated at that point. And someone had patched me in with Sadiq for some business advice, because I was either going to go it alone or I was going to quit. Because I was just like, fuck this. Like, you know, the amount of money that I had lost and, like, the amount of, like, pressure and frustration that came from it all, I was just like, done. Right. And the label was super immature, and they had like people, you know, coming to my shows trying to fight me. I think the dude put like a bounty out on my teeth or some bullshit. Like, oh, you're fucking childish.
Wow.
Stupid. And I didn't want to be associated with that kind of bullshit anymore, and so I wanted to figure out a way to kind of do it either on my own or whatever. But leaving that label, the reason why they were so pissed is because they had a distribution deal on the table, and I walked away from that, and I think that fell through for them. And the distribution deal was garbage, and I didn't want to be a part of it, so I was gone. And so the part of me was like, dude, you just walked away from a distro deal. You fucked up. But most of me was like, you didn't fuck up. You did the right thing.
If you know, if in the end, if it feels fucking nasty in your gut, then it ain't worth swallowing. You know what I mean?
No, totally. And that's why I walked away from it. And my manager too. You know, he's like, absolutely not. We're out of here. The same thing with my agent and everything. And so I was kind of bummed out and a little confused. Didn't know what was going on. And a buddy of mine put me in touch with Sadiq from Rhymesayers, and he pretty much runs shit over there, or he does run shit over there. And you know, so I was kind of talking to him like, you know, how would I go about like getting a distro deal? Like, how much money do you think I should start saving up? Like, what is all this? Like, is it worth the initial investment for this and that and that? And what's the pros and cons? PR and fucking publicists, which I haven't fucking found a pro for yet. And shit like that. But like, you know, at the end of the conversation, we had a really good conversation. He was telling me all this great stuff, and you know, I was thinking about maybe just going alone and giving it a shot. And at the end of the conversation, he was like, or I could just put your records out for you. And I kind of just shit a brick at that
point.
I
was about to say.
Like, pull the phone away from my face and like have a little freak out moment.
Like, that just fucking happened?
Yeah. So, yeah, it was cool, man. It worked out.
And now I guess you get the last laugh over Black Clover because your latest album, Winter in the Wolves, opened at #1 on the iTunes hip-hop charts.
Yeah, iTunes hip-hop charts. And, I mean, I sold, I think, more pre-sale records than I did my whole entire first week of Together Apart. I've doubled.
Hell yeah, man.
Well, so
which is great.
You touch on it.
I mean, press still hates me as they normally do. Which,
well, we like you.
We like you. Hipster in a room that only listens to fucking Kanye or something like that.
I'll take an indie
rap. Dates back to like 3 years ago, maybe.
I'll take an indie rapper talking about butt milk any day. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but you know what? To each his own. Like, I don't give a shit. That stuff is it's all opinion, and half of it's projected anyway, so it's whatever. It's
you actually just said exactly what we say about the website. Like, Sofakingnews is all about the opinions of individual writers, and those opinions at the end of the day don't make any fucking difference. They don't matter for shit. Like, we're just people too. We're just
telling you what we thought.
And you have the right to do that, you know. And other people should chill the fuck out, you know. Like, which is exactly why I'm not mad at those whoever for writing that shit. Because, like, you don't like what I have to say. I don't like what you have to say, but I don't need to make you think about it.
Yeah, right. That's fucking America, man. That's supposed to be the whole point.
Yeah, we're not friends. I don't like you, motherfucker. Like,
there's no rule that says I have to fucking like you. Yeah.
No. We're good.
So you touch
I'm not gonna know when you're dead. You're not. You know. We're good.
We're good.
So the last time you're ever gonna hear me, probably.
You touch on it a little bit in the song Shreds, but where does the title come from?
Winter in the Wolves?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, directly I was watching a shitload of Game of Thrones.
Nice.
And, like, so the wording, I guess, would kind of, the metaphor, I guess, would kind of come from that. But it's just kind of about, you know, facing certain things in your life that, you know, it's either going to kill you, it's going to break you. Or kill you, it's going to break you or make you kind of situation.
Nice.
And that's what it is. I mean, and we tried to, like, show that in the video. Like, sometimes the things that are trying to kill you are the things that are going to make you who you are. So, I mean, more or less, that's what it is. And I faced a lot of those things in the past 2 years. And quite frankly, like, if it wasn't for the music, I probably would have let those things just eat me alive. So.
Yeah, man. I mean, just talking to you right now, I'd buy your fucking book. Like, this has been a very interesting conversation. And
so, what was
terrible book writer.
You could write it as a long rap, though. We just listen.
Yeah, just a really long rap. I'll listen to the whole thing.
I'll do what Prodigy did and hired someone else to do it, and then read the audio book. But like,
so, what was it like to work without Budo on this one?
I mean, it was good. I mean, I've worked with Budo or without Budo, you know, I'd say half my career, and then I think most people assumed that it was always Budo, and it was for a while. Like, him and I sat down to make a song. It turned into a record. That record turned into 3 Years on the Road, which turned into the only way that most people kind of know me is the Grieves and Budo thing. And, you know, so he did half of 88 Keys. I did half of 88 Keys. He did, I don't know, I forget how many tracks are on Together Apart, but I think I had about 5 or 6 tracks on there of my own, and then he had the other ones. And then even with this one, like, it wasn't all B. Lewis. I have 6 or 7 tracks on there, too. And then the rest are B. Lewis, and there's one Sapient beat. But it's always been me and someone else, and it's how you sit down and how you create with that other person that you get certain things out of. And when it came down to Budo and I, we had got a really good run out of that idea that we first had, which was to sit down and make a song, which turned into 2 records, you know? But I don't think either one of us planned for that, and it limited us as far as the other things that we wanted to create. Because when I want to step across a line, that might not be a line that he wants to step across with me. And we were hitting that a lot. Like, we sat down to write a record. We probably wrote 15 songs or something like that for this record, and it was just, we weren't clicking, we weren't connecting. Both of us kind of looked at each other and were like, man, there's got to be a better way to do this. And the better way to do that was for us to just, you know, make music separately.
Hey, man, if that were, and then, you know, that sets up like a reunion tour a couple of years later that you could probably sell some tickets on, you know, shit like that.
Well, yeah, when Macklemore's done with him. Right now, Macklemore's got him. And so he's making way more money than he ever was with me. So he's good, man.
Well, Kyle, the guy who set up the interview, our music editor, and he also is one of our regulars on the show here. He had some questions that he wanted me to ask you specifically. But he says, have you ever fought a wolf?
I've never fought a wolf. If I fought a wolf, do you think I'd be talking on the phone right now?
I don't know, man. How good are you at fighting?
I'm not very good.
I mean, you could be like Liam Neeson.
If I can't get you in the first punch, I'm fucked.
So, do you feel that a wolf would actually have enough power in their breath to knock over a pig's house?
Are we talking about like a fictional wolf or a non-fictional wolf? Because if it's just any damn wolf, then yeah, I'm sure you can just create like a huge wolf that's like the size of Kentucky or something like that. Yeah, he could blow the shit out some houses. I'd also be interested to see a dog or a wolf of any sort physically blow. Because I don't think that their cheek, for them to get their cheeks like that, I don't think it'd be impossible.
Dude, my whole childhood is a lie.
They're split down the side, so they have to figure out a way to air seal the side of their jowls. It'd be very difficult. We might have to rig something up. Like some saran wrap with enough give to allow him to open his mouth in a circular way to let air pass. And then there's that whole tongue thing to help you. I don't know, man.
We should submit this shit to Mythbusters.
Yeah, right.
Can a wolf
of any size or proportion, clearly not a single wolf, blow down. But even if a wolf could blow at all, it'd be the real myth to bust.
Yeah. I don't even know where to go with that.
So, Kyle also thinks that you have a superpower to rap, and that's been bestowed on you either by aliens or that you are, in fact, an alien. And he wanted to know if you would do a freestyle.
That's more of a devil thing.
Okay, devil's what it is? Okay. Can you do if we throw on a beat here, could you do a freestyle rap about pigs, wolves, and the devil?
Hell no.
I love the honesty.
I'm going to keep my grace and not.
There you go.
You know, that's what I said. I was like, dude, we shouldn't ask him that. And he was like, no, the publicist said it was cool.
Yeah, I'll fucking kill. I'll kill. Spend the rest of my night figuring out how to make anthrax.
Hell yeah, man.
Well, real quick before we lose you, man, can you give us one more random fact about an animal in nature?
Yeah, I totally can. Now, for size and just in general, I think that the animal in the animal kingdom with the big dick is like some sort of like mollusk, or some sort of or water, real small. It's pretty much its whole body is a dick. So that does really for me when it comes to which creature is hung like a horse, might we say? Coming second, which I'm saying is number one because that dick body thing doesn't really count to me.
Yeah.
Is a duck.
A duck?
Really?
I forget what kind of duck it is, but it's a duck, and its dick is like this long, elasticy fucking thing. So it can shoot its dick down to the water, like it could fly by fuck you. With
what a fucking useful skill!
I know, right?
Right now,
do what?
Can you look up this duck dick that I'm talking about?
Somebody look up elastic duck dicks.
I'm gonna go to my fucking computer real quick.
That's a hell of a Google search.
It's like they say it's number 2, but that's
Lake
number
duck?
1.
It's a lake duck.
A lake duck?
Lake duck dick.
Lake duck dick.
Duck dick.
Do you see a photo of that fucking thing?
I don't think I can pull a photo up on this. This is my work computer.
Come on.
Trying not to get fired here.
Argentine lake duck.
Lake duck penis.
Duck penis. Look up longest duck penis.
You got
Oh
this.
my god.
You see what I'm saying?
Holy shit! Dude, no, this is...
Put it on the main.
You know what it looks like? You know, like when you go to a flea market or something and they have those little ducks on a stick with the wings that go in the wind? That's exactly what it looks like. This thing has
looks like the thing holding it up.
Yeah, dude, this thing has a pole for a cog.
Oh my god!
That could
And
be
it can
so
do
useful.
it like from the air.
So it could just fly by and just bloop! Like,
Yeah.
that, what a useful skill.
Right?
He's like, I just raped you, quack.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you dropping some duck dick knowledge and some dolphin butt milk knowledge on us.
Yeah, and the album Winter in the Wolves is out. You can get it on iTunes. You can get it probably at most retail stores.
Amazon, Google Play, Spotify, Best Buy, mom and pop stores, whatever.
Nice. Hell yeah! So go home and check out the album. And I think we gave it an A on our review. Like Kyle loved it.
Yeah, no, we totally stroked your dick. Like,
Nice.
Like I said, it doesn't matter, but we all enjoyed it. So
Well, I appreciate it.
hell
Thanks,
yeah!
guys.
Thank you,
man.
brother. And we'll see you in Dallas on May 14th when you come through on your tour.
All right, and hey, this was a great interview, guys. I really enjoyed these kind of like casual, open-ended conversations instead of like, where do you see yourself in 5 years, and what got you into hip hop, and
Yeah.
oh, man, we're all duck dicks here.
The
really
difference
like
between
this.
us
So
and them
you
is
guys,
we actually
your
listen
format
to
is
your
good.
shit.
Keep it going.
Hell yeah, man. Thank you. We
man.
appreciate
Thank you
it.
very much, man.
All right.
Good talking
Have
to
a
you,
great
man.
night, man.
Yeah, bye.
Hell yeah, that was Grieves, and that was badass. Cool. I
Yeah, it was.
feel very
That was
happy
such a good interview. I'm going to go listen to his album.